Have you ever walked out of the doctor's office with this nagging feeling, like you weren't really heard? Maybe you shared your concerns, but the doctor just nodded, scribbled a few notes, and sent you on your way. And deep down, you wondered, did they really understand what I was trying to say? Now, here's something most people never think about. It's not always the doctor. Sometimes, it's the way you speak during those precious few minutes that can quietly harm your care, without you even realizing it. I know that sounds harsh, but stick with me here, because this is more common than you think. In fact, it's one of the hidden reasons why so many seniors walk out of appointments confused, misdiagnosed, or left without real answers. In today's video, we're going to uncover 5 ugly truths about the way many seniors talk to their doctors. And more importantly, how making just a few small changes in the way you express yourself can completely transform your health outcomes. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because ugly truth number 5 is one that even the most careful and thoughtful seniors get wrong. Fixing it could be the difference between walking out of your next appointment with frustration, or walking out with clarity, peace of mind, and a real plan forward. We all want to be polite, respectful, and the kind of patient who doesn't cause trouble. You don't want to seem demanding, or like you're wasting the doctor's time. But here's the problem. Those very habits, the ones that come from being considerate and easy to deal with, can quietly hold you back from getting the care you truly deserve. And you're not alone in this. Most seniors fall into these patterns without even realizing it. I've seen it in friends who shrug off their pain because they don't want to make a fuss. I've seen it in neighbors who forget half of what they meant to say, only to remember it later on the drive home. And I've even watched it happen in my own family, where someone close to me kept quiet about their struggles until it turned into something far more serious than it needed to be. That's exactly why we're here today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 common communication habits that seniors often carry into their doctor's visits. We'll talk about why they happen, how they can silently harm your health, and most importantly, what you can do instead to make sure you're truly heard and understood. And to make this practical, I'll share real-life examples. Stories of seniors just like you who faced these challenges, and what happened when they shifted the way they spoke. Because sometimes the difference between being ignored and being cared for isn't about the doctor's knowledge. It's about your words. The first ugly truth is one of the most common, and honestly, one of the most dangerous. It's the habit of downplaying your symptoms. You've probably said it yourself at some point. Oh, it's nothing serious. It's just a little ache. Or, I don't want to bother the doctor with something small. Now, let me ask you this. Why do we do that? For many seniors, it comes from years of being tough, putting others first, or simply not wanting to seem like a complainer. You've spent your life trying not to make a fuss, and that's admirable. But here's the reality. When it comes to your health, brushing things off is not kindness. It's risk. Doctors are like detectives. They need every single clue to figure out the real story behind what's happening in your body. When you water down your symptoms or make them sound smaller than they really are, you're basically giving them a puzzle with missing pieces and expecting them to see the full picture. Let me share a story. A neighbor of mine, Helen, was 78 at the time. She'd been feeling a tightness in her chest for weeks. But she convinced herself it was just age catching up with her. She mentioned it casually during a routine checkup, almost as if it wasn't worth bringing up. Her doctor's face changed immediately. He ordered further tests, and it turned out she had a serious heart condition that needed urgent treatment. Helen later told me, if I hadn't said anything, or if I had brushed it off even more, I might not be here today. That's how close the line can be between it's nothing and something life-threatening. And here's the part one want you to take to heart. What feels small to you may look very different to a trained professional. That nagging ache, that off feeling, that little shortness of breath, they all matter. So what can you do instead? The answer is simple. Be honest and exact. If you've had pain for 3 weeks, say 3 weeks. If your sleep has been disrupted, say exactly how often. If it's affecting your daily life, be clear about how. This isn't complaining. This isn't being dramatic. This is giving your doctor the tools they need to do their job, and do it well. Think of it this way. Every word you share is like handing your doctor another piece of the puzzle. The more complete the puzzle, the better chance they have of finding the right solution for you. And remember, The appointment is your time. Don't waste it by hiding the truth about how you really feel. Your health is too valuable for that. The second ugly truth is something many seniors don't even realize they're doing. It's the habit of speaking in vague or unclear terms. Maybe you've said it before. I just feel off. It hurts. I've been tired lately. Now, those words might make perfect sense to you, because you know exactly what off feels like in your own body. But to a doctor? It's like handing them a blurry photograph and asking them to see every detail. Healthcare is not a guessing game. If your words are too general, the doctor is left filling in the blanks, and that can delay the right diagnosis, or worse, lead them down the wrong path altogether. Let me give you a real example. A friend of mine, Robert, who's 81 now, once told his doctor that he'd been feeling weak lately. That's all he said. The doctor asked a few follow-up questions, but Robert couldn't remember much more. He didn't recall if the weakness came in the mornings or evenings. He couldn't say whether it got worse after walking, or if it happened while resting. There were no clear details. The doctor did his best, but without specifics, there just wasn't enough to go on. Weeks later, when Robert's weakness grew worse, more tests finally revealed that he had anemia, something that could have been treated sooner if he had given a clearer description the first time. Robert later admitted to me, "If only I'd written things down, maybe I wouldn't have lost those weeks feeling so drained." And that right there is the key. The best way to avoid this mistake is to prepare before you step into the doctor's office. Write down your symptoms. Note when they started. Think about how they feel. Is the pain sharp, dull, burning, or throbbing? Does it happen at certain times of day? Does anything make it better or worse? This might feel like over-explaining, but trust me, to a doctor, this is gold. Instead of saying, "I feel off," you could say, "I've had a burning pain in my left knee every evening for the past 2 weeks, and it gets worse when I climb stairs." That one sentence paints a clear picture and gives your doctor a starting point that could save you weeks of uncertainty. Remember, your doctor isn't in your body. They can't feel what you feel. The only window they have is the words you use. So give them a clear window, not a frosted one. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but isn't it the doctor's job to ask the right questions? And yes, doctors will ask. But here's the thing, the more you bring to the table, the faster and more accurately they can help you. Think of it like showing up to a meeting prepared versus showing up empty-handed. Both ways, the meeting happens. But only one gets real results. So next time, instead of vague words, try to come prepared with details. Because vague language can cost you time, energy, and in some cases, it can even cost you your health. The third ugly truth is one that almost everyone has experienced, and it might surprise you how much it costs you. It's the habit of showing up to the doctor's appointment without a written list of concerns. You might tell yourself, "Oh, I'll remember everything once I'm there." But here's the reality. The moment you step into that room, things change. The doctor starts asking questions. You get caught up in the main issue. Time feels short. And before you know it, the visit is over. And you're walking out to your car realizing you forgot to mention 2 or 3 important things that had been weighing on your mind. And let me be clear, this doesn't mean you're forgetful. This happens to everyone. Even younger patients lose track of what they meant to bring up. But here's the difference. In your senior years, every detail matters more. Your health picture is more complex, and leaving things unsaid can have bigger consequences. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. My friend Margaret went to see her doctor about adjusting her blood pressure medication. That was her main concern, and she remembered to talk about it. But she also had 2 other issues she'd been dealing with: trouble sleeping and occasional dizziness. She didn't write them down, and by the time the appointment was over, she realized she hadn't mentioned them at all. Weeks later, that dizziness got worse. When she finally brought it up, the doctor discovered it was connected to her blood pressure, the very thing she had originally come in for. If both issues had been discussed together, the doctor could have connected the dots right away. Instead, Margaret lost valuable time and had to make multiple extra trips. That's the danger of walking into an appointment without a plan. Doctors aren't mind readers. They won't know to ask about the things you forget to bring up. And those forgotten details might be the very ones that hold the key to understanding your health. So what's the solution? It's simple. Always write down your concerns before your appointment. It doesn't matter if it's 3 things or 10 things. Jot them down. And here's a tip. Number them in order of importance. Hand that list to your doctor at the start, or keep it in front of you so nothing gets overlooked. Think of it like going grocery shopping. If you walk into the store without a list, you're almost guaranteed to leave without something you needed. But when you write it down, you leave prepared, confident, and in control. And that's what I want for you, to take control of those precious few minutes with your doctor. Because those minutes are your opportunity to make sure every concern, big or small, gets the attention it deserves. So, let me leave you with this question. Do you think having a written list makes the appointment feel more structured and effective? Or do you worry it might make things feel too formal? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And here's another tip. Remember that list we talked about earlier? This is where it becomes your best tool. When you hand your doctor a short, written list of your top concerns, they can prioritize with you. That way, nothing important gets lost, but the visit also doesn't get swallowed up by stories and details that could be discussed later or in another appointment. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something, because this is where opinions often differ. Do you think it's better to talk more, even if it risks overwhelming the doctor with too much information? Or do you think it's wiser to talk less, even if it means you might leave something out? There's no simple answer, and that's exactly why I'd love to hear your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to say more or less, it's to say what matters most, in a way that ensures you walk out with clarity, not confusion. Now that we've walked through all 5 ugly truths, let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Because at the heart of it, this isn't just about habits. It's about something much deeper, the way you use your voice in those few minutes with your doctor. Your words are the bridge between what you feel inside your body and what your doctor can actually do to help you. And if that bridge is shaky, if it's built on vague words, half-told stories, or minimized symptoms, then the care you receive is built on shaky ground too. But when that bridge is strong and clear, when you speak openly, honestly, and with focus, you give your doctor solid ground to stand on. That's when real progress happens. I know for many seniors, there's a fear that comes with this. A fear of sounding like a complainer. A fear of wasting the doctor's time. A fear of being seen as difficult. But here's the truth. Clarity is not complaining. Being specific is not being dramatic. It's self-advocacy. And self-advocacy is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in your senior years. Because your health is too important to be brushed aside, and your voice is too valuable to be silenced by politeness. So I want you to pause and really think about this. Which one of these habits might you be carrying without even realizing it? Do you downplay your pain? Do you use vague words like off or tired? Do you walk in without a list? Do you assume the doctor already knows? Or do you sometimes share so much that your real concern gets lost in the noise? Take a moment to be honest with yourself. Because even one of these habits, left unchecked, could be quietly limiting the quality of your care. And here's the good news. Every single one of them is changeable. You don't need to become someone different. You don't need to learn medical jargon. You simply need to approach those appointments with clarity, focus, and the confidence that your health deserves to be fully heard. So let's take a moment to bring it all together. The first ugly truth we uncovered was the danger of downplaying your symptoms, brushing things off as nothing serious, when in reality those details could be the key to catching something early. The second was speaking in vague terms, saying, "I feel off," or "it just hurts," without giving your doctor the clear picture they need to connect the dots. The third was walking into the appointment without a written list, leaving it to memory, and risking that important concerns slip through the cracks. The fourth was assuming your doctor remembers everything about you, when in reality, even the most dedicated physicians can't carry every detail in their heads. And finally, the fifth was talking too much, without letting the doctor guide, meaning that sometimes the most urgent issue gets buried under side stories and background details. Each of these habits on their own may seem small, but together they shape the entire outcome of your visit. And remember what we said at the very beginning. The way you speak in those few minutes can shape the care you get for years. But here's the encouraging part. With just a few small adjustments, speaking honestly, giving specifics, preparing a list, offering updates, and staying focused, you can walk out of every appointment feeling truly heard, respected, and cared for. You don't have to change who you are. You simply have to use your voice as the powerful tool it already is. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 ugly truths do you think you've been guilty of in the past? Or maybe you have a different perspective. Perhaps you feel one of these habits isn't really a problem at all. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences matter, and when you share them, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping other seniors who may be struggling with the very same issues. Here at Senior Strong Living, we're building a community where your wisdom and your voice are valued. This isn't just about health tips, it's about supporting each other through the journey of aging with strength, clarity, and dignity. So if you found today's video helpful, please take a moment to like it. It helps more seniors find this content. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos that could change the way you experience your senior years. And one more thing, if you have a parent, a sibling, or even a friend who could benefit from hearing this message, share this video with them. Sometimes just one conversation can make a huge difference in someone's life.